How's it going, fellow traders? It's Magic Trader here, and this is the CFTC report for October 2nd, 2018. Here's a snapshot of the positions held by the institutions from that date. And let's take a look at what the institutions were doing with gold. Okay, so taking a look at gold, we can see that the institutions have been very aggressive with their positions on their short positions for quite some time. I mean, starting back in early June, which takes us through here, they have been aggressive all down throughout here. Now we've reached limits that I've already been able to determine that every time they reach limits such as these, they tend to take profits on those shorts, which causes price to rally up. So far we haven't seen that. All we've seen is some consolidation here on the monthly chart. So right now price is testing the top of that trend line here. So we can potentially see a breakout or a little bit more consolidation before the breakout, but either way I think we are eventually going to see that move to the upside, because just how much more can they add short when they are already so aggressive with their positions? So still aggressive, looking for signs of taking profit on those shorts. They started to do so here throughout here, which you could see 213, 205, 208. They started adding back to 210, 214. So still not seeing enough of profit taking on those short positions to be able to cause a bigger move like that. I'll be watching that and see if that is what takes place over the next few weeks. Taking a look at oil, we can see that longs are still very aggressive and shorts are still cooled off. Now, even though shorts are cooled off, you can also see that they've been increasing right here this last week from 87,000 positions to 104,000 positions. Okay, and that comes as price rallies right up into that weekly area of supply that I've had mapped out on my charts for a very long time. Well, long exposure is very aggressive. 86% of their overall exposure is geared to the long side, and I think that up here is that we have a very good chance of seeing profit taking on those long positions start to take place. We saw a little bit of profit taking here, okay, and throughout here, and then we get the bigger push right into that weekly area of supply, and it's now that I think holds the best chance of seeing the institutions take profit on long positions and then eventually drop price like this. So I'll be watching for those signs over the coming weeks to see if indeed that's what they're going to start to do. This big increase in shorts leads me to believe that there's a good chance that we're going to see some sort of a pullback soon. Okay. Back here we saw a big jump like that take place. Where was it? August right here. And that was as price was coming up. So increasing, take profits, increasing, and then you take a look here, back in August, 81,000, and then increased to 103, took some profits, and then adding back again. So over the next few weeks, I'd like to see them take more of these longs off the table, and I'll be watching the technicals for signs of a reversal to eventually get into a position short on oil. So we'll keep my eyes on those figures in the coming weeks. As for the US dollar, this chart, whew, my gosh, you know, when you have consolidation, you get a lot of crappiness like this. You get a zone taken out, you get a zone taken out, new zone here, no 2-to-1, no consolidation. This is just garbage. So you take a look here in the monthly, you can see consolidation, and as this is taking place, the institutions hardly budged their positions over this past week. Hardly any change whatsoever. They still remain very aggressively long, with 87% of their overall exposure geared to the long side, and net positions still in the positive. Okay, now we know that the US dollar is not the one that we're really focusing our attention on, because they're not forced to have to take off short positions. It's the euro that they're overly positioned with their long positions. You could see they're so aggressive with their long positions, even though the technicals are suggesting a bigger drop on the euro. Okay, so when we get to the euro, we'll take a look at that. But for this one, no data, no changes in the data, so nothing really to point out. As for the Aussie, a slight decrease in longs and a slight decrease in shorts, but nothing big once again. Shorts still remain aggressive, but there is room for them to add. And so with the weekly area of supply in control, we got that move to the downside. 82% of their overall exposure is geared to the short side, and net positions are still aggressive. Still expecting more of a downside here, especially considering the circumstances here on the positions. They're not lightening up on their shorts. In fact, over the last few weeks, they're just increasing. So us, the members and I shared with them an institutional trade signal to go short here on Aussie, so we have orders ready to get triggered should we get a nice little rally up in price. Now let's take a look at the US CAD. With the US CAD, you know, I was mentioning that with the US dollar, they are already situated very nicely for a bigger move to the upside. And that's exactly what we are expecting with the US dollar, a bigger move to the upside. And with that, we're expecting a bigger move to the upside on the US CAD, US Swiss franc, and also the US Japanese yen. Now this one has had some really big battles because of the opposing forces it's had to come into contact with. Primarily this monthly area of supply. So as we got that reaction to the downside, we got a zone taken out, and now as price was consolidating before removing that zone, we see the institutions slightly increasing their long exposure. Their long positions from 51,000 to 60,000. That's quite a jump. And at the same time, they were increasing shorts. So shorts got price to drop, and increasing longs down at these lows. It could be in preparation for a move to the upside, still watching to see if that is what's going to take place. Bottom line is the sentiment is neutral, telling us we should stay on the sidelines at this point, and I think that's a great piece of advice. Watching for the technical signals to get in long, but so far not strong enough of a sign that they're going to be accumulating a big long position at this time. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, if this continues to increase, that'll be a beautiful sign that they are doing just that. US Swiss franc. So here's the other one. Been mentioning this weekly area of supply for quite some time, saying that we were going to get a reversal from here. Take a look at this. Boom, just like that. So as price was rallying up here, we didn't get an increase in longs, and shorts were increased. So if you take a look here, sentiment is neutral. It's telling us to sit in the sidelines right now. I have posted an institutional trade signal to go long here, and it wasn't triggered, but we are waiting for new signals to be produced for us to get in long. Right now, longs are not aggressive, but I have a strange feeling they're slowly going to start accumulating a long position again. And let's take a look at the euro. So the euro, they had a slight decrease in longs from 172 to 164,000, and a slight increase in shorts from 168 to 171, and that is as we received this drop. Okay, now this is the better chart. When comparing the dollar and the euro, this is the better chart that's telling us more of what we should be expecting, because they're so overly positioned with their longs, and we are expecting price to eventually drop. They've taken profits and then they add, then they take and then they add. So still really not doing anything. That's why sentiment is neutral. Not a good time to be taking any trades. But I am watching this chart and waiting to see if we do get a push to the upside alongside with gold. Pound US dollar. We see longs over the last few weeks become very cooled off. Price reacted to that weekly area of demand that we had mapped out, and we see a big decrease from shorts since August. Profit taking on shorts, which was exactly what I was saying we would need when we were at these levels. and so we received it. A drop from 140 to 90,000 is quite significant. I think right now what they're doing is focusing on closing those shorts, and then later they'll be focusing on accumulating longs. Okay? And so let's take a look at US dollar Japanese yen. So take a look. Weekly area of demand, price came down and now shooting back up. We take a look at longs. As price was rallying up, they increase it massively from 131,000 to 170,000 positions. As that was also happening, they increased their shorts from 47 to 56. Why are they increasing shorts? Well, take a look. We're testing into this area here. A previously tested weekly area of supply. So a little bit deeper test, expecting this, and they're increasing shorts in preparation for that move to the downside. Once it comes down, I'm going to be looking for the institutional trade signals to get on board and take this one northbound. And so right now, institutional total positions are aggressive. Take a look at the sentiment is bullish. Take a look at net positions, bullish. Watching for some profit taking, then some accumulating, and then I'll be looking to get on board a long position on this one. Kiwi. Longs are cooled off, shorts are aggressive, sentiment is bearish, net positions is in the negative. Similar to the Aussie, we have higher time frame areas pushing down. We have very questionable area of weekly demand being contacted. Nothing to stop price from dropping even further. And there is room for them to add to their short positions. So watching this one, we have an institutional trade signal that I posted in the portfolio, and hopefully it will get triggered and we'll take advantage of this this force of price pushing to the downside, and the institutions clearly very bearish with the Kiwi. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is your CFTC report for October 2nd, 2018. I hope it was helpful for you. Happy Thanksgiving to all my fellow Canadian traders, and I hope you have yourself a great week. Take care.